You've probably already Googled retiring in Sarasota, Florida about 100 times, right? And you've seen the beach photos, you've seen the sunsets, you've seen all the lists that say it's one of the best places in the country to retire. But here's what those lists don't tell you, and what they didn't tell me when I moved here, and I really wish they had. I mean, today I'm going to give you the real unfiltered story of what it's actually like to live and retire in Sarasota. I'm going to tell you the things I love. I'll tell you a few things that genuinely surprised me, and 2 or 3 things that I wish someone had warned me about. Nobody did. No fluff, no fake Florida fantasies about everything's wonderful here and perfect, because it's not. It's great, but it's not perfect. But I'll tell you the truth, and just the honest truth from someone who's lived here every single day, lived here for 20 years, and I really do love it. But there's things I wish I would have known about before I started here. So grab your coffee, or if it's sunset, have your cocktail right now, enjoy it. Let's grab some kind of refreshments and get into it, okay? I've been helping people make this move for years, and I've done it myself. I did it 20 years ago, moved from Southern California here, and I'm never going back, ever. Well, never say never, right? But what I've learned is the people who absolutely thrive here, they came with realistic expectations. At least they had an open mind, and they were happy. You know, they were adventurous, and they liked to move. That's the one thing I've noticed about people that move here. They've been pretty adventurous. And they didn't just fall in love with the idea of Sarasota. They fell in love with the actual lifestyle. You know, life is a little different here. It's different than anywhere else. If you've lived anywhere else in the country, this is just genuinely a different experience. And it's kind of one that you wanted to have, but you never really knew you did. So let me help you through some of these things, and let's just talk about the good stuff first, because there's a lot of it, and there's a lot of good stuff, and then I'll get real with you about what might surprise you. Okay, so if you're an active GenXer like me, or a retiring baby boomer, and you like to get out and be active, I mean, you like to be outside, you like to sweat, you like to compete, you like to feel like you're alive, then Sarasota is definitely your place, because this place has always got something going on. And let me start with pickleball, because pickleball, well, I cannot say enough about pickleball. There's so much pickleball here. I mean, Sarasota County has 98 lined pickleball courts at public parks alone. That doesn't even count what's inside the communities. It doesn't even count for the pickleball clubs. There's different communities. There's public parks. All told, in Sarasota, there's about 248 courts and 55 active venues in Sarasota. So this is pickleball paradise. Honestly, you will not be bored in a court in Sarasota. You're going to find somebody to compete against in a pickleball court. You might even be intimidated. I don't know. Maybe you'll intimidate somebody else. Well, we'll find out though. When you move here, there's plenty of pickleball, my friends. And then there's the water. This is my favorite thing. The Gulf of America is right here. It's calm, warm, 80 degrees in the summer. That famous turquoise water, it's just amazing. That's probably the best part, and I wait for it every year. Right around April, the water finally starts to get to 79, 80 degrees, and it feels amazing. It's just fantastic. So whether you're a boater or a kayaker or a paddleboarder, or you just want to be on or in the water as much as you humanly possible, this is definitely going to be the place for you. This is where you belong, no doubt. The boating access is all along the Sarasota Bay and through the Intercoastal Waterway as well. So it's genuinely world-class access to the bay and to the beaches. Yeah, you can get on your boat, or there's always marinas, because there's plenty of marinas here to take care of your boat. Or what you really want is to have that boat in the backyard and have your own dock. We've got that too. So, and right now, prices are pretty good. You can get a good price on a home like that. And then there are the beaches. Lido Key, Turtle Beach, Venice Beach. Venice Beach is the fossilized shark tooth capital of the world, and it's the crown jewel of Sarasota is Siesta Key Beach. Personally, I spend a lot of time at Lido Key Beach, and so do a lot of locals. Love that beach. It's amazing. We used to have the offshore Grand Prix boat races here, and I think they might be coming back, so we'll see. But the sand at Siesta Key, oh my God, Siesta Key Beach has sand that's 99% quartz crystal. It literally feels like it's just staying cool underneath your feet. You never get a hot foot ever. When I was in California, go down to Zuma Beach, go down to Santa Monica Beach, anywhere like that, sand was beautiful. It was thick though, and it was hot. And getting from the car to the beach to the shoreline, that was a process. You had to wear your shoes. You go to Siesta Key Beach, we're talking about the most cool, comfortable feeling. Doesn't matter how hot it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. And they make some amazing, they have some amazing sandcastle events there, sand sculpting events. Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful beach. In fact, Siesta Key, TripAdvisor named it the #1 beach in the U.S. in 2011, 2015, 2017, 2020, and 2025. I don't know why it wasn't all the time, but other beaches have to get their shot, right? There's a Dr. Beach. He's named it #1 beach in 2011 and 2017. And then U.S. News and World Report named Siesta Key the #1 beach in the U.S. It's a great beach. Don't take my word for it, right? And I know people that still live here 20 years and still feel the same way about the beach. It's just amazing. They love it. And there are over 20 beaches here in Sarasota that you could visit. It might take you a long time, but there's 20 beaches between Sarasota and Manatee County. Each one has a different experience. They're all really amazing beaches. So beach adventures, there's plenty of them, and parking's usually easy, not too hard, but there are some tricks to that. In fact, go in the morning, that's for sure. So here's some surprises that almost everyone moves here they don't know about. The social life. Social life is exceptional. I'm not talking about the early bird crowd special. I'm talking about people who are our age, early Gen Xers and the retiring boomers. You're gonna like the crowds here. I'm talking about people who are our age. They go to the farmers market. They go out Saturday mornings. They go to the wine bars on the waterfront in the day. They live the music. They go to the Van Weasel. There's food festivals. There's art walks. There's so many different things. I mean, downtown Sarasota, the main street runs right to the water. It's awesome. You can take a beautiful walk down Main Street and walk all the way to the marina and go over to O'Leary's Tiki Bar and Grill. It's fantastic. Genuinely walkable by Florida standards, especially in the winter. The summer, it's doable. You got to pop into somewhere to cool down now and then. But when you get to the end, you can always take a nice refreshing libation over at O'Leary's or over at Marina Jack's and enjoy yourself. So, and the restaurants here are legitimately good. Not chain food good, not chain restaurants. In fact, they're chain restaurants in downtown Sarasota are actually all over town. They're harder to find. They're here, but we have some really great chefs here, and they're producing some amazing quality food. I love it. So you go and you get some great experiences. Now let's talk about the communities, right? So whether you're at Lakewood Ranch, Palmer Ranch, the Isles, somewhere in Venice, the social calendars are packed, right? All over town, there's different things to do. Within about 6 months, most of my clients here are busier than they've ever been, and they've made more friends than they ever have back home. So there's a lot to do and a lot of people to meet, and it's easy to make friends here in Sarasota. Now let's talk about the weather a little bit, right? So 250 plus sunny days. Winters are in the 70s. Yeah, not bad, right? I mean, I know if you're tired of shoveling snow, and you probably are, part of not having to shovel snow anymore, it lives up to its expectations. You can shovel some sand if you really feel desperate about it. But from October through May, the weather here is absolutely flat out perfect. It's beautiful. For my taste, a little cool, but I've been here a while, right? But outdoor living, it's fantastic. I mean, year-round activities, that's the deal. It's awesome. And I told you I was going to be straight with you, right? So here are some things that I actually were surprised about and surprised other people when they move here. And I know you want to know before you make the decision. So I do recommend possibly renting or spending some time here different times of the year before you make the decision to buy a home. Okay? So everyone moves here thinking about January through April. They're thinking about winter and how great it is. And they come down often. That's when the only experience they have down here. Maybe they pop in for some hot weekend for something like, Independence Day or Memorial Weekend, a spring break or something, getting a little bit warmer towards the end if it's a late spring break. But again, most people are January through April. And those months, they're absolutely stunning. They're fantastic. But the summer, June, July, August, and September, well, that's a different story. We're talking 90 degrees with 90% humidity and a dew point that's in the 70s. It's insane. It really takes a lot of getting used to. The afternoon thunderstorms do come in like clockwork, which is fantastic. That gives everybody a little relief. It cools things off, and we get that nice after storm feeling. It's uniquely Floridian, I guess I'd say. It makes Florida feel like Florida for me, right? The mornings and evenings are when you probably live most of your life. During the summertime, you'll get out in the morning, get things done. There's no rain. Rain comes in, and then you go out after dinner and enjoy it because the night's cooled off, and it's kind of refreshing. Kind of feels really nice on your skin. So your electric bill, That'll climb during the summer with the electricity. But, if your home's not insulated, it's really going to climb. If you've got a great home, then it shouldn't be a problem. But you'll probably adjust your entire outdoor schedule in the summer. Most of my clients figured this out by about the, 1st of August. They're totally fine with it. They've gotten used to it. Okay, this is what summer's like. And, they know what's going on. So you just need to know what it's like when you're coming in. And also something to keep in mind when deciding on buying a home is deciding on whether to buy an older home or a newer one. And that's really important. When I moved here, my agent didn't help me. But didn't warn me about the differences between wood frame homes and block homes. And I really wish I had known the difference in construction here. I have a degree in construction technology. I grew up in construction, but my construction knowledge is all on the West Coast. It's all about wood frame structures, flexibility, limited insulation. Doesn't have to be too bad. Here, it's a different story. I mean, the weather, it's a considerable part on your annual maintenance. You've got to really have a home that doesn't need a lot of maintenance and that can handle this harsh weather. It's not easy. The weather plays a huge part in deciding on what type of home to buy. I'd recommend buying a block home if you can. In some of the more eclectic neighborhoods, they have older wooden homes. I actually live in a 1940s home, wood framed, but I've got to tell you, it's a lot of maintenance. And so when you're choosing a home, you need to consider that the weather is going to play a big part in the condition and the upkeep of your home. So that's a big thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about retiring in Sarasota. All right, so while we're talking about weather, let's go ahead and get this out of the way, right? Let's talk about hurricanes, because I know it's on your mind. I mean, here's my honest take on hurricanes. I grew up in California with earthquakes and wildfires and mudslides, and I know about those things. The Midwest, I should say, they get tornadoes, these massive tornadoes in the middle of the night, and they have maybe minutes of warning, maybe no warning. The Northeast gets those bomb cyclones and blizzards. It shuts everything down for days. You've got to have food supplies and be ready to shovel yourself out, right? Every region has its own weather conditions, weather problems. And Florida has hurricanes with a chance of forming June through November. I mean, they're real. I've ridden out a few hurricanes. It's a real thing. But here's the difference between all these others and growing up in California, where there's earthquakes and fires and floods and a tornado that's coming down that I've never had to experience like that, and a bomb cyclone. The difference between those and a hurricane, we see the hurricane coming for days. We have days of warning to prepare. You can make a plan, you prepare, and you need to go, you go. You leave your house, but you can board up. If you have a great home that's prepared for hurricanes, you can ride it out. And then probably the worst part about a hurricane is if your neighborhood loses power. So you may be out of power for a day. You might be out for several days. I was out for 8 days once because the power lines all dropped around our neighborhood. So it can be a little bit rough when it gets hot and the hurricane's passed and the temperatures start to rise and there's a lot of humidity. It's not easy, but you can ride it out, or you can go to a hotel. Yeah, not a problem. So there are hurricanes, but at least you know they're coming, right? I can't say it's not going to happen. I mean, I've ridden out a couple in the last 20 years, but I'll take a storm I can prepare for over waking up at 2 a.m. to a tornado siren any day. Thank you. Now, there's a whole nother scenario. Let's moving on from weather. Let's talk about January through April. In this town, in fact, the whole state of Florida, well, it doubles in population. And that's something. You think it shouldn't be that big a deal. But I got to tell you, locally, the traffic on US 41 during the season is real. The wait times at restaurants are real. You do have to wait. And parking at the beach, you got to have a strategy. Like go early, or at least know when you're doing. You might need to go there at 10 o'clock, maybe even 9 o'clock if you want to get a parking during the season, because there's a lot of people. That 4-month stretch operates differently here. And you've got to be a little bit more prepared for it. Yeah. Here's the thing. Your neighborhood stays calm. The main corridors get busy. And then you just got to plan accordingly. You're going to go to the stores. You just don't want to shop during peak hours. You want to go to the restaurants. Don't go during peak hours. Just work around people. That's what I always do. And then probably the worst part of everything is some people that come down here come down with a bad attitude. Not many, Because most people that come down here are adventurous, like I've said before. They're having a good time, but some come with a bad attitude, and you just got to ignore those people, right? And then the worst is, this is the worst. They forget how to follow the rules of the road. I think they come down and they think they're on vacation for 4 months and the rules don't apply to them. I'm not sure. But roundabouts blow people's minds. I don't know why. Another surprise that you might not know about is insurance and the cost of living. So Sarasota is one of the more expensive mid-sized cities. It's not inexpensive to live here. The cost of living runs about 9 to 10% above the national average. Housing costs hit hardest. Median home prices are in the mid 500s. And if you're looking for coastal homes or on the Keys, you're adding significantly to that. And if you want to be on the water, you're definitely in the multi-millions. Homeowners insurance, and I want you to hear this clearly, typically runs between $4,000 to $6,000 a year, and that's before flood insurance. If you're west of the trail, Tamiami Trail, or anywhere near the water, and you're in an AE flood zone or worse, your flood coverage can add some real significant numbers. FEMA updated its flood zone maps recently, and so you can look up your flood zones of the property you're interested in, and we can point that out to you as well. But this is one of the biggest surprises for people coming from the Midwest or Northwest, where insurance is it's just not like this. So my advice, work with someone who knows the specifics, like myself, before you fall in love with a house. The zip code and the elevation of the property matter enormously for what you'll pay. And we can definitely help you get in contact with an insurance person that can give you an idea of what insurance might cost on a couple of homes. So on the flip side, here's the good news. Your heating bill and your cooling costs are significantly lower depending on the home you buy. If you buy a newer home, it's going to be really good and well insulated and updated. So the same with gas. Gas here is probably less than what you're used to paying. So property taxes are typically really low compared to many areas of the country. We don't have a state income tax, and there are homestead exemptions, veteran breaks, and more for you to save money on with your taxes. So in Tallahassee right now, they're working on trying to adjust their property taxes for homestead properties. So if you're going to be a full-time resident, there may be some breaks in the future. But the best thing I would recommend is getting a cost of living calculator. That's your best friend in figuring out the real differences in what you want to pay and what you're paying now and what your costs are going to be when you move here. So, all right. Let me go to another surprise, and that is that it's grown quite a lot. If you haven't been here in a long time, you're going to be really surprised. Sarasota's population has grown by almost 15% since 2020. Out-of-state buyers make up nearly half of all new home purchases here, and that's changed the character in many ways. There's more traffic, there's more competition for tables at restaurants, there's more people at popular spots like the beach or different things. So, some people feel that that's a drawback, and I can understand that. I mean, I personally think the growth has brought better restaurants, it's brought better amenities, and it's brought more energy for sure, because this place was pretty dead when I moved here 20 years ago. It seemed like they rolled the sidewalks up at 8 o'clock at night. I don't know. Now it seems to have a nightlife and seems to be pretty good all different times of the day. So it feels like there's energy in the city, right? So it's not a sleepy fishing town that it used to be some 30 years ago. And you should know that. It is vibrant. And if you're looking for a sleepy town, well, we might want to get you down near the southern part of Sarasota, get you down maybe in Inglewood, Venice. It's a little bit slower paced down there than Sarasota is. Who's Sarasota perfect for? Let me paint you a picture of the person who absolutely thrives here. You're in your late 50s or 60s. You're not done. You're active. You want to wake up with somewhere to be. You want to get somewhere. Maybe the pickleball court, the boat ramp, the beach walk, maybe walking over the Ringling Bridge. There's something you want to do. You want to get up and go. You want a social life with people who are living the same chapter you are. You care about meeting people. You like good food. You're looking for good culture, exercise, and good health care. You want no state income tax. You want your winters to feel like they're vacation. And here's the thing. You're willing to understand that this lifestyle has a real cost, and you're planned for it, because Sarasota rewards people who do their homework and come with clear eyes. If that's you, and I'm guessing it might be because you're still here watching the end of this video, then Sarasota is a good fit. It might be the best decision you've ever made. So here's what I want you to do right now. Drop your comment below. Tell me about your situation because everybody's situation is different. Tell me where you're coming from. Send me a direct message if you'd like to do that so it's not in the comment box. But just tell me what your ideal life and retirement looks like. Are you a boater? Are you a beach walker, a pickleball fan? Maybe all three. Maybe you want to do even more, and there's a lot more to do, and we can tell you about that. But here's the thing. Every situation is completely different, and everybody's got a different plan for their retirement. Your timeline, your budget, your lifestyle, what you're leaving behind, it all matters. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I can help a lot of people. And we can wait, and we can help you get to retirement and at least do a little exploration. My number is 941-960-8844. I'm John Butagards. And we know a generic answer is not going to do it for you. So go ahead and leave me a message and I'll help you out. And if this helped you in any way, I've got more videos you can watch and learn a little bit more about what's going on in Sarasota. All right. Have a great one. Bye.